Hey there, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to our show. It's called Tournament Horse Racing. My name is Rich Sharp. I'll be your host for tonight's event. Here's what we've done. We've taken the horse racing calendar, we've broken it up into four separate individual horse racing tournaments throughout the year. Each of those tournaments consists of, well, approximately 10 racing days, and that's actually what you're going to watch tonight is one of those individual racing days. And each of those racing days, except for tonight's, consists of four individual races, and the players will go ahead and make a $2 mythical win place bet in each one of those four races. Whoever wins the most money wins that day's tournament. That's how we do it. We actually keep score throughout the year. We even have a year-end winner at the end of the year. That's a summary of how it works here on tournament horse racing. Without getting too further into it, I'm going to go ahead and bring in our horse players. They are horse racing analysts. They're actually all friends of mine as well. So, in no particular order, I'm just going to start. He lives a little bit to the north of me. It's in Menifee, California. He's a very good friend of mine as well. Steve Newsom, how's life been treating you lately, bye?
Oh, not bad. Went and watched the Mariners game last night and saw Ohtani pitch,
Oh, I saw
a home
that.
run, and then
Mm,
watched Seattle win the game on a
Grand
on a ninth
Slam.
inning grand slam.
That must have been really exciting for a
It
Mariners
was great.
fan. All right, just a little bit to the south of me, he lives in Temecula, California. He's again horse player number two, I guess you would say. He's also a really good friend of mine. Joe English, how's life been treating you, my friend?
Fine, except that I don't like being called a number two.
You're not number two. You've never been a number two. I apologize. Just in
No,
tonight's
no,
order.
just my picks. Sometimes you're number two. That's all.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Trust me, when I show the stats, you'll see how I feel about that. So, and last but not least, he's all the way on the other side of the country. He lives in Staten Island, New York. He's our final horse player for tonight's event. Also, a very good friend of mine in Ray Torado. What's new in your neck of the woods, man?
I'm number three.
You're number three. I didn't know you want to go with that, man.
Well, let me tell you, we got some people from Italy in my bank, and we've been going in twice a week for the pandemic, for the last 3 years. So this week I had to go in. I mean, I would have been 5 for 5, but I made 4 out of 5 because of a car inspection on Monday. But let me tell you, going in 4 days this week, man, I'm tired.
How did I ever do this, man?
I don't know how I did this 4 years ago. And next week the same too. Next week the same. Oh
Sorry,
boy.
Oh man.
you get no
But other than
sympathy from me.
I'm
You get
okay.
no sympathy from me.
Before you had no Joe's,
You get
yeah,
Yeah,
Joe's
zero
since
sympathy.
sympathy
we
from
came
me.
And
back from
Joe,
COVID,
I
I
got the
work.
whole next week too. So
Yeah,
I've been going
I'm still
5 days a
working
week
2 days
since
from home. So
2022 started. So don't,
uh,
don't, don't, don't no sympathy from this end. Sorry.
all right,
Okay,
I'm a little tired. Okay, but
we're not
all
gonna
is
get into
well.
Southern California traffic. Joe, Ray,
All is
Steve,
well.
nice to hear from all of you,
Yes.
folks. Just as a reminder, Steve, Ray, Joe, myself, we're actually all horse players. We love the game of horse racing. We get together on a weekly basis just to talk about horses, and we play in this little tournament. We are most certainly not selling our picks, and we are not even necessarily endorsing the picks that you'll see that are coming up tonight and like that. We're all horse players who enjoy the game of horse racing. We really hope that you do too. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the show tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened last week here on Tournament Horse Racing. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And we are going to go ahead and bring up, we did a split tournament last week between Saratoga Racetrack, where we did races 8 and 10, and Del Mar, where we also did races 8 and 10. And you know what? Let me make sure I've got my correct settings on here first, so we'll make sure we show this correctly. But we did 8 and 10, and as you see there, your eyes should be popping out of your head. Steve Newsom put up a really big number. As a matter of fact, I really wish I had a spreadsheet that kept track of all of our picks for the entire 3 years that we've now been doing this tournament for, and like that. That's got to be close to one of the highest numbers we've ever seen: $58.70.
Rich,
that's
I
pretty
don't even
good.
think that's enough. Didn't Forte win?
I'm sorry, did I miss one here?
You have Forte as place. Didn't he win?
Oh, excuse me. You know, I
Oh
may have missed
yeah.
this one. Yeah, excuse me. I will get that corrected
Like
for us. And let me, you know,
not,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
that
I
I
think
need to give
so. Yeah,
Steve any more props,
I
but
thought I
that
thought I'd won three
it
of
was
them.
phenomenal. It was a phenomenal day. I don't think. Yeah, I think that's easily the best day any of us have had.
yeah,
You know, I
and
think it's
such
cool.
a good day. Maybe you caught me off guard there. And like that, let me go ahead and make sure I fix this one really quick for Steve, and that way you can at least look at the accurate standings as well here for this.
Go for it.
Like I said, no, I'm not saying Forte should have won.
He paid 350, 290.
Yeah, 350
Some
and
people
290.
want
So let me
to
go.
believe, and I don't know if I'm part of some people that know their
Oh,
ball,
let me go ahead and put.
that Forte should have been disqualified. But not that notwithstanding, he actually was credited with the victory.
Well, that's what happened. Rich watched the race, but he didn't see
Yeah.
the results because he didn't see the
I,
stewards would have should have taken him down, but he didn't. So he
if I'm not,
assumed he took him down,
if not, yeah, I
and
was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, that was my attitude in the chat that we were all having. And that was that yes, he should have been taken down for interfering with Angel of Empire, who was the 5 horse that was over here. Anyway, Steve, that puts you up to $62.20, and I'm pretty sure that is the biggest score that we've ever seen here. And look at that.
Oh, look at that, within a dime.
10 cents separates the top two
yeah.
spots. Ray, you're not out of it by any means, but boy, it's starting to look like I am. I'm down about $40 here. And that's what it looks like. So, and over here, let me go ahead and move that out of the way for you guys. You see there that we've got a couple of victories for Joe, one for Ray, one for Steve. And we are going to go ahead and head right back to Saratoga Racetrack. They've got the Whitney Stakes today, or tomorrow, excuse me. And they've also got the Longines Test. Before we go to Saratoga, I'm going to go ahead and bring up our racing form for you. Steve, did you want to go ahead and give us an update on the weather up there in Saratoga?
Oh yeah, they just had some rain today, so tonight as it cools off, you're gonna see some fog. You'll have a little fog in the morning. It'll burn off and be nice, sunny and 81 degrees for most of the day.
Nice. All right. For those of you who follow along with us and you've seen this before and things like that, you'll see us using a racing form that is presented by Brisnet.com. You can go to Brisnet.com and you can get this form with a subscription. Or if you like, there are certain sites, including TwinSpires.com, where if you go ahead and purchase this particular form that we're using tonight, and you also agree to bet at that track, and it could be as simple as a $2 show bet on the biggest favorite in the race, then they will go ahead and give this beautiful form to you for free. That is what we use. That's the weather. Here's our 4 race sequence. We're starting off with race number 6 at Saratoga Racetrack. They're going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. It is the Troy Stakes. It's a grade 3. The purse is $300,000. It's for 4-year-olds and upward. And your morning line favorite is becoming a regular on this show. His name is Caravel. He's trained by Brad Cox and he's ridden by Tyler Gaffleone. He is 3-5 on the morning line here at Saratoga Racetrack. And before I get going here, I will let the guys know that because of his big score last week, obviously Big Steve is going to go first this week. And Steve, you're going to pass that baton to Ray, to Joe, and then Joe to me.
All
Have at
right,
it, guys.
all right. So let me go first. I'm going with the. I'm gonna try to beat Carabelle here, and I'm gonna go with the one, the thin white line. Uh, Trained by David Donk and ridden by John Velasquez. Uh, the horse is
Thin
one,
white.
three, and
Is
one.
it the Thin White Duke?
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say it was?
I thought I heard Thin White
White
Line.
line.
Oh, whatever. Thin White
Where
Duke.
was he? What was his mind on?
I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Okay.
I have written down Thin White Duke. Anyway, but horses 1, 3, and 1 in 6 races at the distance, 3, 4, and 2 and 18 on the turf. So had a few nice 3 furlong workouts. I don't know if that's just maybe try to get the horse a better, quicker start, maybe. But anyway, I'm gonna go with Thin White Line at 20-1 here.
Duke.
Or, why do I? Yeah, it's because I see Thin White and I just. Oh.
Yeah. Say no more, please.
Right.
Well, I'm on a different horse.
Thank God.
I'm on a different horse here. Number 1, Thin White Duke.
He's on Thin White Duke.
Oh, we think alike here. Let me tell you. Yeah, 20-1. But I mean, Cowbell's 3-5. So what is she gonna give to me or anybody in this race, other than $5? But yeah, I'm just betting this horse because I mean, I like John Vasquez, and also, you know, he's a closer, and I think he might just pick up the pieces from the rail and just, even if he gets second, it's fine for me, fine for us, whatever, at a decent, somewhat. place price. But this horse does have the figures to win if anything goes astray. My only question is the distance. It may not be enough, but if it's a fast pace, closers seem to just pick up the pieces. So this horse has been 15 out of 26 in the money. So he runs a fair race every time. Bounty don't get into trouble. So being on the rail, he might get a decent trip. Also, he might even be blocked. So it's a chance we take. So I'll take Thin White Duke, number one. At a decent price. And if he wins, more the merrier. So
Yep.
I'm following the big winner for last week, the hot one. Joe.
Well, we can all agree that Caravel is the horse to beat. Uh, she kind of, I don't say she lays over. She's obviously very strong. But to me, it's like, doesn't she have to at some point run an off race?
Mm.
Doesn't she have to prove that she's flesh and blood? She's not, I mean, she's run poor races before. She ran ninth at Saratoga in one race last year. It's not like it's so totally impossible that she could run a bad race. So you have to play it. You have to play against her unless you. I mean, you can play her on top and play your horse underneath and exacta. The horse I like a little bit is the 5 Grooms All Business. He's coming out of a race at Monmouth Park where he beat the horse who ended up winning the Wolf Hill that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, Allegon. And like I said, 3 horses came out of that race to win. 3 of the horses that's finished behind Grooms All Business. So he's been beating at least some decent horses. The fact that Caravel and No Balls are both in this race, it seems that there's going to be pace. I can't see them going 22 and 4 for the first quarter mile. I just don't see that happening. And that's just 2 of those. There may be others who might even try to beat Balls and go for the lead. Dylan Davis knows this guy. He's ridden him a couple of times before, including his first start of the year earlier this year in an allowance race. And he's 4 for 7 at the distance. So I'm going to take a chance. I'm just going to try and find somebody who maybe can beat Caravel and hope she just runs an off race, because it's got to happen at some point. Otherwise, she's just a machine, and it's really not fair betting against her. But I'll take the 5 at 8-1. Grooms All Business. Rich?
I'm distracted here. I had a bad call from a home plate umpire. That was strike 3. I took the same tactic that Joe did. I'm hoping for a little bit of pace in this race, so I'm looking for someone to come off the pace. Even though I did take a peek. I looked at our back page first, just to see what we're looking at here. 62% of the time you are looking at those favorites do hold up in these types of 5.5 furlong turf races, and I'm skeptical that there's someone in this race that really can take out Caravel. But if it is, I'll go with Steve Asmussen and Ricardo Santana. The horse actually was a dirt specialist. So if you look at his whole career, he's 5 for 10 in his career. So he's a bit of a winner, 5 for 10 with 2 seconds. But if you look here, these were all on the dirt all the way at Oaklawn Park, whereas Joe knows it's our favorite turf course, right? And then switched out to Lone Star for 2 races. Those are both smaller stakes races, but does come from off the pace in both of those horses in both those races. And I'm hoping to upset the apple cart here a little bit. So the horse is 8-1. I'm getting a very good jockey trainer combination that comes in from Oaklawn Park. And at least the horse has shown at least a little bit of a fondness for running on the turf, winning those 2 5 furlong races. This one's 5.5 furlongs, so he's going to even get a little bit more distance to run at. I'm going to go ahead and go with Cogburn in my picks here.
Rich, I am shocked.
Me too.
I will admit that I am shocked. Steve, you
I thought
too.
you were
Why?
going to go with the 8.
Go ahead.
Me and you both.
Oh yeah, Bermuda.
The
He's not going
Godolphin
with
horse.
the Godolphin.
Yeah,
I am not going with the
That's why
Godolphin
I'm
horse. Yeah.
surprised.
Hey, I stayed off the favorite. I did take I took a long look at Remuda there, especially with Flavian Pratt aboard, and just didn't buy in where I normally do on just the name and everything else and things like that. But for whatever reason, was not sold on this particular one there. 5 go down there. There it is. All right. With that said, we will move along. And the second race, I should mention, normally we do 4 races. Our sequence is almost always 4 races. As a matter of fact, it's always 4 races. Tonight, for the very first time, Saratoga had such a good 5 race sequence. We got the suggestion there from one of the players. So we're going to play 5 races. We're doing 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You actually saw that on the score sheet. So hang in there with us. We're moving along to race number 7. This is a 1.1 miles on the inner turf course. It is the Facing Tipton Lure Stakes. Purse is $135,000 on the inner turf for 4-year-olds and upward, which have not won a graded sweepstakes in 2023. And your morning line favorite is right here in post number 3. It's Dakota Gold, trained by Danny Gargan, ridden by Irad Ortiz, 5-2 on the morning line. Ray, you're going to kick us off here at Saratoga.
All right, this is it's a fair race. I mean, you got a lot of contenders here. I wound up in the middle, number 5, Speaking Scout, trying to go off the Irad Ortiz, which sometimes, usually does not work
Doesn't usually work. Yeah, it's kind of.
because I'm burning up the track over there.
But if you're
I
going to
go
go
Speaking
Flavor Pratt.
Scout, Grand Motion, Eclipse Derby, Partners, Flavor and Pratt. This horse, has a tendency of likes to go a little longer, so I'm taking a shot that the mile and 16th may not be enough. But we'll see. This horse has some good figures. Been running some, top quality races late last year, early this year. The Pacific World Classic, the Maker's Mark. Fared decently in the Pacific World Classic. Then a couple races in Pimlico, Monmouth. He's been close, 3/4 of a length, finishing third. Little trouble here, but he gets Flavor and Pratt, and I think that might make a good difference for him.
Mm-hmm.
He runs decent off for layoffs. So Motion, I respect Motion and know what he does, and he usually when he brings a horse to Saratoga, he's meant to run well. So 9-2 is a decent price. It's a wide open race, so I'll go with Speaking Scout. Hope I can get a decent pace. He should be mid pack and make a run and hopefully get a good trip. So Speaking Scout for me, number 5. Joe?
Ray, you said it's a decent price. I'm going with a longer price than that. I'm right outside you. Give me the 6. Chasme, coming in from Ireland. The form in 2023 has been terrific. 2 wins, second, and the 4th in a 26-horse field. Actually, that last race was in 2022, but it was after a year layoff. He's shipped to 3 different tracks in Ireland: Dundalk, Naas, and the Curragh. And the form is obviously held, so the shipping across country is obviously a little different, but at least as far as shipping goes, I don't think that's really a big problem. He's had success with cutting the ground. He finished second. He won a race 2 back over heavy going at Naas at 7 furlongs, and the Curragh's stretch run is uphill, so I'm not worried about the demanding ground. He drops 10 pounds. He carried 130 last time. He's down to 120 now. And he gets a world-class jockey. I don't know if everybody knows on this side of the Atlantic how good Oseen Murphy is, but he's world-class. He's very, very good. He's very highly successful. I think he wins it roughly 70% of the time over there. And in big fields like that, winning at 17% is really, really tough to do. So I'm going to take the Foreign Invader. Give me the 6, Chasme, for owner, trainer James Stack. Rich?
Yeah, I took the same horse. I'm on the European Invader. That's always one of my strategies is just keep going further east. And Joe, you kind of covered it pretty well there. So I don't think I really have anything other to add than I also am a fan of Lucien Murphy. Steve, what do you got?
I'm going with the 9, Midday Image. Got Jose Ortiz on board. He's ridden this horse before in early June at Belmont. Got him to a first place win in a 6 furlong race there. This horse, the last time he ran a 1.1 miles, won, took a win there. Has put up a couple of nice speed figures last year on the turf at a little longer distance, 1.1 miles, 1.5 miles. So I think this horse kind of likes this longer distance. He's 5-1-0 at 1.1 miles, and it's got 11 wins on the turf too. So I'm going to take a midday image at 15-1 here with those Ortiz on board.
Ray, you're going to finish us up here.
Didn't
So
start
Ray,
it.
Ray,
No, I
I'm
went
sorry.
first.
I apologize.
went first.
I've got
I
all
think
my
I
square.
finished it.
I had my pencil
Oh,
sitting in my
all
pencil
right.
was sitting in the wrong spot here.
I'll take the 5 again.
All right, 6, 5. You get a second shot at this, Ray. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
You sure?
And on to, again, leg 3 of a 5-race sequence tonight is going to be race number 8. They're going 7 furlongs on the main track. This is the test stakes. Grade 1, purse is $500,000 for filly 3-year-olds only. And your morning line favorite, I believe by just like a nose there, is right there in the 1 hole. Pretty Mischievous, trained by Brendan Walsh and ridden by Tyler Gaffleone. And she is 9-5 on the morning line. And that means that, Joe, you're up first.
You got any Star Wars music there, Ray? Rich? Anybody?
Am I?
Anyway, this will probably give away who I'm picking. Give me the 6. North
North Vader.
Vader, 6-1.
Let's see.
She's done well around one turn, including winning the Devona Dale at grade 2, and she just missed behind Pretty Mischievous in the Acorn last time out, going a much longer distance, but still around one turn. Obviously, Belmont's so huge. I'd like the fact that she gets a post switch. She was inside of Pretty Mischievous last time. This time she'll be outside of Pretty Mischievous. Going a sprint distance, I'd rather have the horse on the outside than on the inside. I would expect there to be enough pace in here with between Jersey Pearl, Clearly Unhinged, Money's Gold, and Maple Leaf Mel. And I like the fact that Johnny B sticks around. So give me the 6-1 shot with the 6. North Vader for George Weaver in the test. Rich?
I'm not going to have to go to the lower odds. I really do like Pretty Mischievous, obviously a Godolphin horse, and there's Brendan Walsh and Tyler Gaffleone, but I'm one down because unfortunately I'm $40 back, and betting 9-5 shots is not going to get me any closer to you guys at this point in time. So I went with my other strategy that you guys often hear on this show, which is this is a California dirt horse going east. So as you heard in the last race, I do like those European horses that kind of come over here or the further east, if you like, as far as turf is concerned. And this is the exact opposite. The further west, the better I like them here. In this case, it's a Mike McCarthy, Javier Castellano combination. The horse is by Into Mischief, so it's not like she doesn't have the breeding talent. 1, 2 out of 3. The only one that she didn't do so well in, unfortunately, was a grade 2, which was the Santa Anita Oaks, as you see there. But I'm hoping that her speed will carry here on this track. Again, Castellano actually had a very good year so far this year. And again, kind of playing a hunch, going with a 12-1 shot. There are other horses that I like much better in this race. But again, I'm in catch-up mode right now. So I've got the 2 Clearly Unhinged. Steve?
Yeah, I'm going with the 4, Jersey Pearl. Luis Saez on board. He's winning sprints at 25%. Horse has won its last 2 races. Last one by 9.5 lengths at 6 furlong race. 9.5 lengths. Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, 15-1. Take another shot here. It's put up some nice speed figures last 2 races too. So maybe you can keep it going. So going with the 4, right?
Very interesting race. This is, well, every year the Testers comes out always to be a very fantastic race. And, as much as I want, well, you know what? I'm gonna stick to my guns here. I'm gonna go with Maple Leaf Mel. She's undefeated. This is her her acid test finished race. She's won handily against a little weaker. She got speed, and let's see if the competition will make her run a little faster or whatever. Or because she's good. She's gonna have challenges, the distance and the pace, and well, I was gonna go with Money's Gold, who's right in the side of her. I mean, any horse runs 7 furlongs and 120 in Tampa.
Mhm.
Come on. But being outside of Munnings Gold and the other speed, I think maybe she may not have to be on the lead. Maybe to try and rate her, and that might help her. Rosario is not that aggressive out of the gate, so I'm hoping that he can lay off and make a run if she would like to do that, if she's willing to do that. So that might help her. So until someone beats her, I'm gonna go with her. And I know 2 was a little short, but it's a good race, and just let's see how they do. So Maple Leaf Mouth for me.
I apologize for the pause there as I put in those numbers. I should have kept talking and things like that. The Dodgers and the Padres are playing, and I've got that open on my iPad, so I fear you're a little bit distracted. It's because I am. All right. So race number 9 is going to be the fourth leg in tonight's tournament. We're going to have a bonus race. We're going to have one more after this. They're going a mile and 3/16 on the turf. This is the Saratoga Derby Invitational Stakes. It's a grade 1. Purse is $600,000. It's an invitational for 3-year-olds only, and your morning line favorite is in post number 5. It's Farbridge, trained by Todd Pletcher and ridden by Jose Ortiz, 2-1 on the Saratoga morning line. And if it's the fourth leg, I guess that must mean it's me. And I stayed away from the favorite, although I do think that Farbridge is definitely worth the value there. And I went down to, again, another European invader who came over and did well in the Belmont Oaks, which was a grade 1. It was a 9-horse field there at Belmont. And don't really know much about James Stack. That's the problem for me here. But the horse is, the sire of the horse is Justified, who has been a really successful sire since he came on board. He gets John Velasquez, or she gets John Velasquez aboard, and the horse did come over with races in Ireland. There was one that was there in France at Longchamp, and then came right over and wins at 15 to almost 16-1 there on the Belmont Oaks. So I thought this was a worthy try. Again, kind of digging from the back of the pack. I'm going to go with the 3. Aspen Grove. I'm gonna hand it off to Steve.
All right, I'm gonna take the horse on the rail here, Mondego. With Joel Rosario on board, trained by Christophe Clement. Uh, they're winning at a 13% clip with 40 races there. The horse is 2-1-1 in 5 races on the turf.
Yep.
Won two out of his last 3. Got beat by Farbridge in his last race. Not by much though. Was on the lead for most of the race. I think the shorter distance here might help. And yeah, so I'm going to go with Mondego here, the 1. Ray?
I'm on the number 6, Web Slinger. It's a good race. You got Farbridge, you got some other horses, Klarovich program trading. But I like Web Slinger. I think he did win. He beat Farbridge in the American Turf and Churchill, big price. Then get some respect after that. And Belmont Derby went pretty well. It's just a lot of traffic there. You see all the running lines here. It's 2P, first 4, 5 wide, 6 wide, quarter pole. A lot of trouble. And he finished 4th by a length and a half. So I think he'll get a little with the shorter field. I mean, there's only 9 horses. Castellano going a little longer here. So 4-1, decent price. Mark Cassie had a decent meet, got a couple wins. So hopefully there's enough pace. I mean, this horse should be mid-pack, couple lengths away, 2 or 3 lengths away, and could make a run if he has room. So Web Slinger for me, Castellano. Joe?
I'll take the other European, Lion of War, the Ascot Invader.
Yeah.
He made a late move. He was down on the rail. I had a chance to watch the race. I was there, but I obviously did not see the race. That was Thursday. I was not at the track. Actually, that was Friday. I was not at the track that day. But I did get a chance to watch the race. He made a late move in that handicap race at Ascot at 1.25 miles. And I think based on the fact that at least up until this point, the turf had been really speed favoring up at Saratoga, but maybe some rain will actually help the closers come from behind.
Yeah.
Like I say, he made the last move in that race and almost got up to win. Of course, who ended up winning the race was on the lead most of the way. So again, this is maybe a lot of that same situation. And Rich obviously hits on it. Marathons are what the Europeans do best. And the reason O'Sheen Murphy is in Saratoga is because of this guy, not for the other horse that he was on.
Okay.
He had just got that mount today, but he's been on this horse before. And obviously, that second place finish in the 15-horse field impressed him enough to come across the pond to ride those two races. I don't know if he's got anything else in earlier on the card, but obviously, I think this is the reason he's here. So give me the 8, Lion of War.
That's really interesting. He came in for this horse. All right. Let me go ahead and get these numbers entered in here. And again, we've got a bonus race on tonight's card. So we're doing 5, where we normally only do 4. We were certainly going to leave out the feature. This is race number 10. They're going 1.125 miles on the main track. It is the Whitney Stakes, Grade 1. Purse is $1 million for 4-year-olds and upward. Your morning line favorite is in post number 6. He's kind of turned into a little bit of America's darling here. Trained by Wilmot and written by Junior Alvarado, Cody's Wish. He's 1-2 on the Saratoga morning line. And Steve, we went all the way around the clock. We're back to you. You're going to get to go first twice tonight.
As good as Cody's Wish is, I still got to try to beat him at 1-2, right? So I'm going to go with the 1 here, Zandon. Seen this horse quite a bit. Got Joel Rosario on board this time instead of Flavian Pratt. He's been on board a couple of times. Chad Brown, of course, the trainer. They're winning at 31% there. Horses, Zandon's won at the distance. At it, I think it was which one? There was the Keeneland Bluegrass Stakes last year. I remember picking him that day. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Zandon here to try to beat the favorite at 9-2. Ray?
Usually Saratoga. This is, I would, in my opinion, this is like the second best day of Saratoga. Usually every year, the Whitney. I've gone to a few Whitneys and very happy to have gone. Um, yeah, you're right. Cody's Wish 1-2. I mean, this horse, this is like a, what do you call it? A bonus for stallion purposes to try 2 turns and to enhance his legacy. At 1-2, I'm off at 2. Yeah, show me, beat me. That's what I say. I'm on the same horse, Zandon. I think Chargers gonna be on the lead. I think Cody Wish can make the first run, and I'm hoping Zandon will mold them 2 down the lane. They might move a little too fast around the turn, so that's why I'm picking Zandon. He'll get the 3rd run, and hopefully he'll catch both of them. So that's why I'm picking Zandon. He's in good form. Been running all the races too, like Steve said. He was in a 3-year-old, Travers. He ran 3rd in Travers. So he's familiar with the track. Also Jim Dandy, So he ran good in the Met. You know, obviously 1 turn is might be a little too short for him. So based on the pace, his pace numbers. But I think Zandon's gonna get a mile on 8, and he'll run well. I believe he ran well in the Pennsylvania Derby behind Tabor, and I was there that day. And I think I had him somewhere in my bets. So the Tabor went, and right by him. But unfortunately, this is 6, 7 months afterwards, and he's a little more mature horse now. So, but He's been running well in the mid the mile, so let's stretch him out now again. See. Joe?
It's funny if you look at Cody Wish's PP's lifetime, all 13 races. Something he's never done is 1 2 turns.
Yeah.
He's only tried it twice. He's never won at 2 turns, and it's like I'm not gonna. I wouldn't bet anybody at 1 to 2, 2 to 5, 1 to 5, whatever it is. If they've never, I mean, as good as he is, and again, he should get 2 turns. It's really not an issue that he should have. There shouldn't be a problem. So if he wins tomorrow, I'm not really going to be surprised. I just wouldn't bet on a horse like that. I wouldn't bet to win on the horse. If I was betting a multi-race exotic, sure, he'd be on the ticket, no doubt. But I'm going to try and beat him too. I'm going to take the 5. Give me White Barrio. I watched the last race that they were all in together, and White Barrio got a less than perfect ride from Tyler Gaffleo. I mean, you see that he was 2 and 3/4 lengths back. Everybody else seemed to pass him. And of course, then he had to come back and he barely got beat by Zandon for second. So I think with Irad in the saddle, I think he's going to get the second run. I think Charger's going to be on the lead. I hope White Barrio gets first run before even Cody's Wish. And Irad knows him. He rode him before in the Cigar Mile when he finished third. He got beat a half length by Mind Control that day. And he is a great one winner around 2 turns. You can't really take that away from him. He won the Florida Derby before, and he beat Chargett that day, even though there was Chargett's only, I think it was Chargett's 3rd start or 4th start, somewhere in that range. So if you're going to give me 6 to 1 to try to beat Cody's Wish, I mean, I guess I'm going to have to take it. I don't like the fact that, he's carrying top weight, but again, he's a grade 1 winner around 2 turns, something that Cody's Wish is not yet. So give me the 5 at 6 to 1. Good.
One of those terrible dilemmas. I often I'll put a line through my picks just so that I have 2 choices and like that. So my 2 choices for this race were the 1 Zandon or the 5 White Barrio. So I really got this is one of those benefits of going last. I'm going to join up with Joe here one more time tonight. I'll go ahead and stick with White Barrio. I liked him once upon. He actually won the Florida Derby going a mile and 8 down there at Gulfstream Park. He has been a very solid horse. He came back off of a layoff. Did not perform very well in that race that was right here off the layoff. That's because it was the Pegasus World Cup Invitational. Art Collector ran everybody into the ground that day. But he came right back out of that and he won. And he actually ran a really respectable race there in the Met Mile. He's got Irad Ortiz. He has been switched over now from Joseph Safi, who apparently has been banished to God knows where. I went with the 5, White Barrio.
He just can't. He can't start horses in New York. Rich.
In New York, right?
Yeah.
He's banned.
Well, actually,
is it also Kentucky?
It was because of what happened in Kentucky the week of Derby, and I'm not sure if I don't know if it was just the owner's decision to take him away, or if just that if he can't run in New York either. I'm not sure if that's.
Yeah, I don't think he can run in New York. Yeah, I don't think so.
6, 2, 3.
They gave him to a very respectful, a new and improved Richard Dutrow.
Absolutely, right. Interestingly enough,
that
the
game for 10 years, man.
Yeah, he moves away. He moves away from Safi for what he got, what he got nailed for, and he was into the bar with Richard Dutrow. I was like, well, wait a minute. All right, take a look at your picks
from
there.
one jail cell to another.
Just make sure that I've got your combinations correct. I'm not used to tracking 5 picks.
8, 6, 1. Yep, I'm good.
Yep.
6.
All good.
Everything's good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and come back to you. We'll wrap this one up. For those of you who stuck or hung in there with all night, we really appreciate it. I know this was a little bit of a longer show because we did add that 5th race. As Ray mentioned, it was Joe's suggestion initially to go ahead and add the 5th race. Saratoga sometimes just has such a juicy set of races that we couldn't resist going with a 5th race tonight. So, guys, got anything before we wrap this one up? All right. Well, that's how we do it. That's how we do it here on Tournament Horse Racing. That's how we make our picks. We will go ahead. If there are any scratches, if there's any problems with the races tomorrow, we will keep in touch with each other via text message. With that being said, for Steve Newsom and for Joe English and Ray Torado, my name is Rich Sharp. Our show is called Tournament Horse Racing. Good night, everybody, and good luck.
Good night.
All right.
No.